person I chose for my lesser-known notable was Martin R. Delany. He was born in America as a free man, to an enslaved father and a free mother. The rules of the time stated that the child would take the social status of the mother, and because his mother was free, he was also free. His mom's parents were royalty in Africa. They were forced to come over as slave workers, but because his grandfather was a prince in Africa, they granted him his freedom, and he left. But his wife, at the time, stayed back. As a child, Martin Delany had a difficult time because of the discrimination of the white people. His mom attempted to educate him and his siblings, but because of that, their neighbors took action against her, forcing her to move to Pennsylvania. Later on in his educational career, he attended Harvard in the medical department, and after just a few weeks, he was forced to leave because the other students that were white did not think it was acceptable for him to be part of that group. So he and the three other African American students were forced out of the school by the white students. However, this did not affect him and his heritage. He was extremely proud of being a black man. He stated that he was glad that God made him a black man, while Frederick Douglass, a man that he worked with, stated that he was happy that God made him a man. Because of his experiences at Harvard, he decided that immigration back to Africa was the only way that the black people would be able to escape the discrimination of the whites. They held 3 national immigration conventions, and he actually went on a trip to Africa to figure out where the best places would be for his people to immigrate back to. The tribes around there needed to be negotiated with in order to allow re-entrance back into their land from America. No matter how many times Martin Delany was discriminated against, he did not let others keep him down. As a young student, he worked as an apprentice for a physician and later on opened his own shop up for cupping and leeching techniques. Cupping is when they provide suction to the skin with a cup that would actually draw blood and lymph to the area in order to heal it quicker. Later on, he was able to become a physician. He also started his own newspaper company that was called The Mystery, and he ran that for 2 years before becoming a co-editor of The North Star, which was created by Frederick Douglass, who is a more well-known abolitionist of the time. Another major impact that Martin Delany had is that he was the highest ranking African American soldier in the Civil War. By allowing him to enlist, he also made sure that his entire race could enlist as well. He was the major of the 104th Colored Unit, and the North won the war, being able to free the black slaves, or any slaves of the time. Mr. Delany made a huge impact as an abolitionist of slavery. It is rather surprising that he is not studied in schools. He worked on the Underground Railroad. He was one of the highest ranking official that was colored in the Civil War, and many other accomplishments. At the end of his life, he became a judge, and he fought for the voting rights of former slaves so that they would be able to vote. And he actually ran for Congress, but he lost by a small margin. Mr. Delany was a great abolitionist who is not as well known as he should be, and he should have been studied due to all of the accomplishments that he did in his life.